Hey, what's up, Dynasty owners? Jay Pounds here. We got another rebuild video for you. Before we get started, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. It'll really help us out. It kind of helps the little algorithm with YouTube out, and just kind of it'll show you guys more of our videos and things of that nature, and videos like this as well. So make sure you do that. Like I said, it really helps us out. As well as if you got some friends interested in joining, get them over here. Now's the perfect time for them to start mock drafting and things like that, and just really kind of starting to try to learn Dynasty Owner for the most part. Today we're going to talk about how to attack the rookie draft as a rebuilding owner. This kind of applies to all owners. Same with the videos I've been doing the last couple weeks. You can be a contending owner and take these tips just as well. But that being said, I've been kind of just looking at how to really go about finding a solid strategy for Dynasty Owner. And the best thing I've really came up with is just try to kind of compare it to what the NFL GMs do. If you see these smart franchises that they don't want to spend huge money on running backs, will probably follow suit. Maybe one running back on a decent contract because we have a little more wiggle room than they do. But if you see them, most teams are okay. Paying a wide receiver big, or obviously their quarterback, they have to pay them. We do have a little bit of a luxury with the extra cap space that we get compared to what they have, because obviously they're paying defensive linemen, offensive linemen, defensive players in general, special teams guys. They got to worry about all of them. We're just strictly paying offensive players, and we get, I think it's like 3/4 of their cap. So we really have a lot easier than they do, but you still want to kind of mimic what they're doing as well. If you notice, a lot of these teams, if they have a quarterback on a team friendly deal or their rookie deal, it just seems like things are easier. And that's the same here in Dynasty Owner. The owners that had just Justin Herbert and Josh Allen or something like that last year were just in heaven. It was a unbelievable combination of contracts and production. And that's really what you want to strive for here on Dynasty Owner. Just kind of try to follow those paths of the smart GMs, the winning GMs, and it should take you down that road as well. Steve Van Tassel, I mentioned this article a couple weeks ago. It was just one of the better articles I've seen on Dynasty Owner for the most part. Not to knock any of the other writers or my articles. It was just very, very informative as far as what it took to win Dynasty Owner last year. And owners, how do I want to word it? Owners didn't seem to care to pay wide receivers, especially the owners that did well. I cannot remember the exact numbers, but they all had, on average, it was relatively high for wide receiver. I know quarterback was just under 30 million. So, technically you don't want to get one of them good quarterbacks or the high price quarterbacks. As I said, the Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, or maybe Tom Brady, Josh Allen combo, something like that will get you right around that number. But, just mimic these NFL teams, if they're not paying these quarterbacks. Obviously the Chiefs are paying Mahomes, but that's going to be a deal here in a few years. But, watch the Cowboys over the next few years and see how much they struggle paying Dak $40 million. A good example I put in there was the Ravens. Whenever they paid Joe Flacco after that Super Bowl run, the whole team just seemed to go to crap after that. They struggled to make the playoffs, and the defense really kind of went away, and you never see that in Baltimore. And that's just kind of what happens when you got one player eating up a huge chunk of your cap space, and you guys are going to find that a lot here. Enough of my rambling. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to talk about a few different topics today. The topics are trading down, best player available, drafting for need, and trading picks for veterans. I'll talk about the positives and the negatives of each of these here on Dynasty Owner, and let's get right into it. All right, we're going to start with the trading down. I'm a fan of trading down, especially when you're rebuilding, because it's just multiplying your assets for the most part. Usually, you're going to get multiple picks to trade down. Obviously, you're not going to trade down for free. Um, you kind of as I was comparing things to the NFL teams, a negative of this would be something like the Giants did. They were sitting in the 11th spot, and obviously, they're not going to take a quarterback there, but they had solid players that would have filled needs on their roster, especially Rashawn Slater. Um, they have an okay offensive line, but with him sitting there and just an okay offensive line, I'm taking him 10 times out of 10. Obviously, they got more picks, and we'll see if they hit on those. Even Micah Parsons was there. That would have been a great pick for them. But instead, they trade down in the 20s and get Kadarius Toney, who is more of just a luxury at this point. They signed Kenny Galladay. They got Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard. It's just I don't think they needed to take Toney there. It just seems kind of like a luxury pick is the best way I can think to put it. So when you're trading down, you want to trade down with a purpose. Don't trade down too far to where you're out of the point to where you can get one of these guys that you really really like. I made a trade. I had the 1-1 in the Let's Rebuild a Team Together team that I'm running. And at first I didn't get any offers for it. I'd posted something in the chat, and then I kind of started looking into teams, ahead or behind me and what they needed and who they were going to be drafting and specifically the number 2 pick. And it just so happened he messaged me like 2-3 days after I looked at his team and realized he needed a running back pretty bad. I was heavily debating between Trevor Lawrence and Najee Harris. I wanted to lean Trevor Lawrence, but I was probably going to take Najee Harris just because I felt like I could have got 2 or 3 first-round picks if he came out and tore it up from one of these contending owners that needed a cheap running back for the next couple of years. Obviously, I wouldn't even mind keeping Najee Harris on my roster. I'm close enough to winning now that wouldn't necessarily have been a bad pick. But I have Dak Prescott on my roster, and if things get dicey, I can free up $40 million in cap space and draft Trevor Lawrence at the 1-2. So what I did there was we ended up working out a deal. I had traded him the 1-1, Russell Gage, and A.J. Dillon. And in return, I got DJ Moore, the 1-2, and the 2-12. I was thrilled with that. Obviously, he has some extra receiver depth that he can get rid of to afford to give me DJ Moore and the 1-2. With getting rid of A.J. Dillon, I made him throw in the 2-12 there just because it's a young running back that was drafted high. Russell Gage is going to get a new contract next year, so I didn't mind getting rid of him. I'm not sure if he's going to make huge money. I highly doubt he makes huge money. But, I don't want to pay a Russell Gage $6-7 million a year if he gets something like that. So I was okay getting rid of him there. And then this year, if you're going to trade down, try to make your target cutoff around the 2-4 to the 2-6. It really starts to get ugly after that. And what I mean by that, obviously here with the 1-2, he gave me the 2-12, but I got DJ Moore on top of that. So if you're trading down, let's say you have the 1-3 and somebody gives you the 1-5, make sure they give you the 2-3 in return, if they got something like that. If not, they're going to have to cough up a player. Don't settle for the, trading from the 1-3 to the 1-6 and taking a third round pick on top of it to compensate. Don't do something like that. It's just not enough value there to trade down. Make sure you're getting value to trade down. You're doing them a favor by trading down, so make sure they're doing you a favor by giving you value. You don't get ripped off the trade down. You don't have to trade down. I want to repeat that. You do not have to trade down, but it will help you to trade down in certain situations. Let's get on to the next topic. I hope I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Best available or trading up. Basically, the best available is probably the safe route you can go, because at that point you're just taking what all the analysts are telling you and what all the scouts and stuff and the pros are telling you, and just taking that player. Obviously, if you're up at the 1-1, it'd either be Najee Harris or Trevor Lawrence. Probably Najee Harris in this, since it's not full out super flex, but you couldn't go wrong with either one of them, and the overwhelming public will tell you the same. So going with the best available there is more of a safe pick, but I feel like it's going to take you a little while longer to fully rebuild your team that way, because typically when you're playing it safe and going best available, you're not trading many players either. Maybe you traded a couple to start your rebuild, but usually once you get to that point and you're just taking strictly best available and you're wanting to play somewhat safe, you're not trading much. Trading's a gamble every time. And I know a lot of people that just like rolling with what they know and not trading. And I'm gonna hit on my rookies and build it that way. And for some people it works, but it's a crapshoot at sometimes. If you miss on a rookie at that point, you're out your entire rookie draft basically. If you miss on your first round pick, and maybe you get lucky and find a Claypool or something in the second, but for the most part, you're going to be out most of your draft, and that really, really hurts, especially here in Dynasty Owner, man. These rookie contracts are so vital. What team in the league has no solid rookies or players on rookie deals and winning, even making the playoffs? It's probably slim to none. Honestly, I would be willing to bet that it's very, very few. You got to have productive rookies to win in the NFL, and you're going to have productive rookies to win here on Dynasty Owner. That's just all there is to it. So if you're going this best player available route, usually you're okay. They're right. But if for some reason it's not, it's going to hurt. It can also put you in a bind. And what I mean by that, whoops, I said that wrong. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong line there. Trading up, it kind of puts you in a bind. If you need a receiver and Chase goes before Najee Harris, you got to take Najee Harris. You can't, you don't want to just trade up there to get Chase and waste a bunch of assets. It's just bad building. When you could go flip Najee probably if somebody's got a few good young receivers and maybe get AJ Brown or somebody like that, in that territory, and some probably just because Najee's a high valued rookie. It's the trading up is more for, if you were going to actually trade up to go after Chase because you needed that receiver. I'm not a fan of that by any means. I say draft, if you're going to trade up, instead, just if it's only one or two spots, wait, take the guy you really believe in at that point, and then flip them for more later on, because if you believe in them, they're going to hit. So I would go that route. But if you're in the end of your rebuild, it's okay to go ahead and throw a next year's pick in and get the guy that you really want. If you think your team's ready to go for the next couple of years and losing a first round pick isn't going to kill you, then go for it. If it's your guy, it's your guy. I can't ever blame anybody for going to get their guy. But at points, you gotta kind of try to balance yourself at the same time and not make rash decisions just because you really, really like a guy. Trust me, I've done it a few times. My first year in Dynasty, I did something like that. I can't remember the receiver it was now. He was kind of like a Brandon Cooks guy. He would explode here and there, and then always have 1,000-yard receiver or 1,000-yard receiving season. And golly, that name is on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I gave up like 2 first-round picks for. I didn't care about draft picks. This was, I want people that are producing. I don't know, rookies aren't going to hit, blah, blah, blah. And I learned quickly that's not the way to go. Just be level-headed when you're making these trades. Like I said, it's okay to, if you're ready to, if you feel like you're ready to win a championship, like thoroughly, then yes, go ahead and do it. But or if you think this is going to help put you over the top, maybe not this season, but next season when Chase is really, really starting to go and a couple more of your guys on your roster are ready to go as well, then okay, I can see that. But for the most part, just try to be level-headed with it. And that's really about all I got. If you are going to trade up, try to do how do I want to word this here? Try to do like let's say you were going from the 1-5 to the 1-3, and the person wanted, let's say you got the bonus pick, and they wanted that. Or let's just say the 112, just because you can't trade the bonus pick after this year. I remember that right. I believe so. But let's say they want you to throw that in. Instead, try to throw wherever you got a little bit of depth at. Throw a player in there. If you like who's going in the 112 range, then throw a player in instead. That way you can keep that pick. These picks are valuable. Especially do not take. If you can get rid of a $6, $7, $8 million player and trade up, then okay, that's great because you just freed up some cap space and all that. You just got to kind of think that way in Dynasty Owner, and it'll get you pretty far. The next one we got here is trading picks for veterans. As a rebuilding owner, I tend to stay away from this. I'm not even going to lie. There are situations you can do it, but I kind of wanted to just put this in here for you guys to know to kind of stay away from it. It's very risky. I mean, it can. In normal dynasty leagues, it's not risky. Let's put it that way. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's probably safer than, if you can get fair value, it's probably safer in regular dynasty. But here on Dynasty Owner, it's risky because you're taking on a lot of money and salary and getting rid of that true value that's on your roster and rookies. So unless you know for sure you're going to be contending, I just don't like doing this. If you're sitting there like, man, Austin Eckler would put me over the top, then go ahead and make the trade. Or, I got a heck of a team, but I only got 3 good running backs, man. If I could really get like Alvin Kamara, then okay, and you got the cap space for it, then sure. But if you're not ready, if you're sitting there like, oh, I'm going to be competing in 2 years, let's trade some picks for a veteran. No. Don't do that. Unless, a third round pick or something, whatever, or late second. But don't be getting rid of your first round picks for veterans, especially early on in your rebuild. Now, right at the end of your rebuild, sure, go all in if you need to. You should have a bunch of young players on your roster at that point to where you can afford to get rid of 1 or 2 first round picks. But other than that, I highly recommend staying out of it. I got a trade example for you. It's not a Dynasty Owner trade, but this is one I made last year after a startup in a rookie or a super flex. My cat got my tongue. This is a trade I made right after a startup in a 12-team super flex league. I got rid of my 2021 and 2022 first and seconds and Jared Goff, and in return, I got Miles Sanders, Tyler Boyd, Deshaun Watson, DJ Moore. I loved the trade. I got rid of 4 picks in Goff, 4 solid picks in Goff. But after the draft, I was looking at the rosters. I'm like, all right, nobody's competing with me but one other guy. Maybe 2. There was another guy that, if 1 or 2 of his rookies hit, he would compete. But for the most part, it was just me and one other guy. So I made this trade. And I took third, Mike Williams. This was a very deep league, so I was starting Mike Williams, and he got me 0 points. Man, it killed me. But anyways, basically where I'm getting at with this trade here is now this offseason, I'm looking at potentially blowing this team up. And it's because of the Watson deal. I don't think he's going to play this year. I really don't. I don't know if he plays in 2022. He may never see the field again. It's likely that he does eventually. But now I'm sitting here. I had Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson, 2 top 5 quarterbacks, in a 6-point touchdown, 6-point passing touchdown league. And now I got Josh Allen and Teddy Bridgewater. So, it's risky all the way around, especially here on like I said, on Dynasty Owner, you're going to be spending a ton of money on these guys. Obviously, right there, Boyd, Sanders, Watson, and DJ Moore. If that was a trade on Dynasty Owner, $10 million for Boyd and $39 million or something like that for Watson. That would have cost me a boatload. And then DJ Moore's about to get a new contract. Miles Sanders is going to get a new contract in a year or two. So on Dynasty Owner, it's just so risky. And like I said, unless you're contending, stay away from it. That's my point of view on it, and I don't think I'll waver from that one. Last but not least, drafting by need. This is another one. There's two different ways you can look at it in Dynasty Owner. You can draft by need because you don't have the cap space, or you're drafting by need because you think you certainly need this position. I hate the drafting by need for a position. If you come up on the clock and you got Javonte Williams, Rashad Bateman, and I can't remember who the other one I used. Or let's just say you come up, you need a receiver so bad. You feel like you're one receiver away from really, really contending. And you get to the clock and you got a Javonte Williams and Rashad Bateman there for some reason. And you're going to take Bateman because you need the receiver. No. Don't ever do that. Take the higher value and then flip them. You can get from somebody like me, a rebuilding owner, you can get a decent amount for Javonte Williams right now. I'm looking at him as a 7th, 8th, first-round pick. So, and Bateman's probably an early second, very late first at the highest. So, don't drop down in value just because you need a certain position because you feel it's going to help you win. Don't ever do that. Always, 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 always take the player that's going to net more in a trade right after the draft. Heck, if Williams is there, you can trade somebody 4 picks back and get Bateman. Just don't do that. Now, like I said, if you're sitting there and you got $4 million in cap space and you got Bateman, Jalen Waddle, and Javonte Williams on the clock, obviously you can't take Jalen Waddle and you need a receiver. Obviously Waddle is too much unless you're going to cut somebody off of your team there and make the cap space for him, which is probably what I would do at that point. If you had to have a receiver and Waddle was there with Williams, I can understand that. But don't go and take the Bateman. Don't take the Bateman. Don't take the bait. But just don't do that. You guys just, practice good habits in this draft. If you're making trades, you get good value. Don't be trading up unless you're ready to start winning. And don't be trading picks for veterans because they're expensive. You need these rookies. NFL teams need their rookies. It's just a given. You got to have that value to really, really be competitive. But that's all I got for you guys today. I'll stop rambling and shut up so you can get on with your days. Like I said, tell some friends about Dynasty Owner. Like the video. It'll really help us out. And don't forget to check out Nate, Matt, and Steve's videos and articles as well. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up on theirs as well. You guys have a wonderful draft. I can't wait. I'm so excited. By the time you guys see this, you'll probably be a couple picks in, depending on how fast your league mates want to pick. I can't wait, guys. From right now, I think we got another day. It'll be starting maybe a day and a half. I'm too tired to do math right now. But enjoy the rookie drafts. Good luck on your 2021 chase for the ring, and we'll see you